Imagine this: a young student, eyes full of dreams, steps into college believing a degree is the golden ticket to success. Years later, they graduate, burdened by loans, struggling to find a job, and realizing the promised future was just an illusion. This is not just one story, it's the reality of millions.
Today, we're going to uncover how the very system that's designed to empower us, well, sometimes it traps us. So let's dive right into the heart of the problem, what I'm calling the broken promise. Why on earth are millions of smart, educated graduates finding it so hard to get a job? For generations, we've been told this one simple story. Go to college, get a degree, and you'll be set for life. But is that really true anymore? Or has that golden ticket turned into a really expensive illusion? Okay, let's start with a number that should honestly just stop you in your tracks. A massive 83% of engineering graduates in India are unemployed. Just let that sink in for a second. We're talking years of intense study, complex math, all those late nights. For what? This isn't just a small crack in the system, you guys. This is a total breakdown. And believe it or not, the problem goes even deeper than just unemployment. The real crisis here is unemployability. Only about half, just over 51%, of all Indian graduates are actually considered ready for a job. That means for almost every other student who walks out with a degree, the education they got didn't give them the skills the real world is looking for. So you have to ask, how did we get here? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look back. Because our education system, as we know it, wasn't built for the innovators and creators of today. It's basically a relic, a system designed for a world that just doesn't exist anymore. Listen to this quote from Lord Macaulay way back in the 1830s. He wasn't trying to create a nation of artists and entrepreneurs. Nope, he was building a workforce of clerks, of administrators, basically people to help run the British Empire. The goal was to get people to conform and comply, not to be creative. And that original DNA, it's still deep inside the system today. And this way of thinking gave birth to a very specific teaching method: rote learning. You know what I'm talking about. It's all about memorizing facts and just repeating them, often without really understanding what they mean or how to use them. It's all about knowing the what, not the why or the how. And the result of that in the classroom today, it's a culture that can actually punish you for being creative. I mean, students literally talk about losing marks because they solved a math problem a different way, or because their answer wasn't copied word for word from the textbook. The system isn't just failing to teach innovation. In some cases, it's actively stamping it out. Which brings us right to the crisis we're facing today. This old system, the one built for conformity, now has a really high price tag. We're talking a huge gap in skills and just crippling amounts of debt. And hey, it's not just students who are feeling this. A whopping 92% of HR professionals, the actual people doing the hiring, they believe that college curricula just aren't preparing students for the real world of work. That's basically a unanimous vote of no confidence from the entire industry. So you've got this crazy situation. On one side, you have millions of unemployed graduates. And on the other, you've got employers who are desperate to hire. A massive survey by Manpower Group found that almost 80% of employers in India are struggling to find people who have the right skills. It's a total paradox, a flood of degrees, but a drought of actual talent.
And what kind of skills are we talking about? It's not like they're looking for something super obscure. These are the absolute basics of the modern economy: IT and data, sales, practical engineering, logistics. These are the exact jobs our system should be training people for, but it's not.
Okay, now let's talk about the other side of this trap, the money. And just so we're clear, this is a global problem. Take the United States, for example. Student loan debt there has ballooned to over $1.7 trillion. It's a full-blown national crisis that has trapped an entire generation before they've even started their careers. And here's what that actually looks like for a person in India. Just imagine, you take out a 40 lakh rupee loan for your degree, full of hope for the future. You finally get a job, but your salary is 75,000 rupees a month. And guess what? Nearly all of it, 66,000 rupees, goes straight back to paying off that loan. You're stuck. It's a debt cycle that makes any real financial freedom feel impossible. Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but it's not all doom and gloom. There is a new path forward, because the world is finally starting to shift its focus away from the piece of paper you have and onto what you can actually do.
So here's the big shift. The old way was all about theory, spending a certain number of years in a classroom to get a credential. The new way? It's all about practice. It's based on proving you're competent, not just that you showed up. It's about building a portfolio of real work you've done, not just a list of grades. And some countries are already living in this future. Just look at Finland. They basically blew up the whole high-pressure, test-obsessed system. Kids there don't take mandatory standardized tests until they're 16. The whole focus is on creativity and learning, not just passing exams. And the result? They're consistently one of the best education systems in the entire world. And it's not just entire countries changing. Powerful alternatives are popping up everywhere. You've got tech boot camps with job placement rates close to 90%. You've got industry certifications from companies like Google that employers sometimes value more than a 4-year degree. And then you have platforms like Coursera, even YouTube, creating paths to incredible careers for next to nothing. You know who's really leading this change? The companies themselves. They're not waiting around for universities to catch up. Their number one strategy right now is training their own employees. And this is huge. Many are just dropping degree requirements altogether. It's a massive signal that they're hiring for skills, not credentials. So after all that, what does this mean for you? How do you actually navigate this new reality? This part is all about taking back control. It's about learning to write your own rules to escape this trap. So here's your playbook. First, change your mindset. Don't chase degrees. Chase skills that solve real problems. Second, build a portfolio that actually shows what you can do. Third, understand that learning never stops. And fourth, this is a big one. Get smart about money so you never get caught in the debt trap to begin with. When you boil it all down, the main takeaway is simple. Education is an amazing, powerful thing. The trap isn't learning. The real trap is blindly following an outdated system that just isn't built for the world we live in today. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Do you think our education system is really preparing us for the messiness and complexity of real life? Or is it still just teaching us how to pass the next test? Let us know what you think.